Alrighty, here we go. It's a whole new day with me and Nancy. All right, so far we've broken down maybe the first. I've been saving this on my thing. How long has this been so far? The first 3 minutes. I've managed to make 3 videos on the first 3 or so minutes. I'll try and talk less and watch more. But every time I see something, that's why you're watching. If you're watching these videos, it's because we want to break down and find out what we could do better. So let's keep going. So far, here's all we know. Stories are important. They get an emotional response. Presentations don't. Where's the discrepancy?
I want to show you some of the findings that led up to what I think I've uncovered as a presentation form. So it was obvious to start with Aristotle. He had a 3-act structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end. We studied the poetics and rhetoric, and a lot of presentations don't even have that in its most simple form.
It's like using a Martin Luther King quote, kind of overused, and it's so far to the extreme that you're like, okay, sure. It does. The reason I don't find that to be an effective thing is because I just can't see how that applies to me yet. But you could have the 3-act structure. You could have just referenced Aristotle's 3-act structure. I guess that's fine. I don't know. Seems a bit cheesy.
And then when I moved on to studying hero archetypes, I thought, okay, the presenter's the hero. They're up on stage. They're the star of the show. It's really easy to feel that way as the presenter, that you're the star of the show. Well, I realized right away that that's really broken because
Oh, that's
I have an idea. I can put it out there. But if you guys don't grab that idea and hold it as dear, that idea goes nowhere and the world has never changed. So in reality, the presenter isn't the hero. The audience is the hero of our idea.
I like that idea. I think that was a nice little way to kind of rechange the thinking. I thought that was a good little presentation. I think you could have done it a bit more succinctly. You could have thrown it out to the audience as a rhetorical question to re-engage them. So who's the hero in a presentation? We would normally think the hero is the speaker, the person who's on camera, the hero's journey. But it's you. You, the audience, are the heroes. Something like that, just a little more concise.
So if you look at Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, just at the front part, there was some really interesting insights there. So there's this likable hero in an ordinary world, and they get this call to adventure. So the world is kind of brought out of balance. And at first they're resistant. They're like, I don't know if I want to jump into this. And then a mentor comes along and helps them move from their ordinary world into a special world.
This is good. This is the standard hero's journey.
Is to be the mentor.
Every movie follows that, right? That's Joseph Campbell. His book about the hero's journey is famous amongst anyone who's ever written anything. In fact, I should shout it out. I have a friend who's kind of broken it down because it's very technical and very dry. He's broken down the hero's journey into like manageable YouTube videos. I'll post it in this video.
You're not Luke Skywalker, you're Yoda. You're the one that actually helps the audience move from one thing and into your new
Can I just say that that's awesome?
And then a mentor.
But okay, can I just highlight something that's really good? So here's something that she has done. She put up a picture of Luke Skywalker and Yoda, and we were okay. She's talking about movie structures or story, so I get it. But then the way she gives that, she uses that as an analogy, and you're like, oh, that aha moment. Every time we get an aha moment, that's a dopamine spike. So that was really good. Let's watch that again so you can see
Campbell's hero's journey. Just at the front part, there was some really.
I mean, those kind of things. I don't know how I feel about posting it around. But let's listen to what she does when she says who is the hero and who is the audience, and how she relates that.
And then a mentor comes along and helps them move from their ordinary world into a special world.
Okay, here.
And that's the role of the presenter, is to be the mentor. You're not Luke Skywalker, you're Yoda.
That was good. The speaker is Yoda and the audience is Luke Skywalker. And then, I'm not sure if she's going to do this, but it would be really cool if she did, she kind of kept with that analogy. So the next question is, how does the speaker, how does Yoda help Luke Skywalker help you defeat the evil empire? Make sure that your idea spreads to the world. Let's find out. And then you go into your next slide. For example, using rhetorical questions to engage and just using that analogy. Hopefully she'll go back to this analogy because it's a good one.
You're the one that actually helps the audience move from one thing and into your new special idea. And that's the power of a story.
Yeah.
So in its most simple structure, it's a three-part structure of a story. You have a likable hero who has a desire, and they encounter a roadblock, and ultimately they emerge transformed.
I really like, okay, hero, roadblock, and transformed. It would be really nice if she drew a parallel here. She could either refer back to the Luke Skywalker thing, but most people know that, or she could give us a specific thing. So you have a likable hero. You all, nice people. You have a roadblock. Each one of you has an idea, but no one knows about it. Something like that to relate it back and keep using that analogy and keep going back to specifics.
That's the basic structure. But it wasn't until I came across Gustav Freytag's pyramid. He drew this shape in 1863. Now, he was a German dramatist. If I click, he's a German dramatist, and he believed there was a 5-act structure, which...
Okay. This is also very well known, the 5-act structure. This is like the hero's journey, you should all know because it's every movie you've ever watched. I mean, every standard movie, every Hollywood movie kind of thing. This one is another way to kind of think about that. I don't mind the slide. I mean, to be honest with you, the little slide and the bigger slide, it's kind of lame because it's just, it looks old school. It would have been nice, honestly, it would have been nice to just have a picture of a triangle and keeping the exposition, rising action, climax, that's fine. The title, meh, no one's looking at it. Let's be real, no one's reading it. Unless you say, can everyone look at the part going up? Rising action. Let's think about the Avengers movie or something, or let's think about Terminator 2. That's always the action sequence and then the stuff after the action sequence in the first hour. So for example, I mean, it would be nice to see you draw a parallel here to like an actual movie or something, or an actual story that everyone knows, but that's on a different note. Slides, the visuals, blah.
Which has a exposition, a rising action, a climax, a falling action, and a denouement, which is the unraveling or the resolution of the story. Well, I love this shape.
Yeah, give me an example of what that means so that I know that you can apply it.
We talk about shape. Story has an arc. Well, an arc is a shape. We talk about classical music having a shapeliness to it. So I thought, hey, if presentations had a shape, what would that shape be? And
that's
how
good.
The greatest communicate.
So this is the shape. This is the triangle. This is the shape of a really good story. What is the shape of a presentation? It would be nice if now it would be really cool if right now we got a totally different shape, or if you gave me a different triangle, or like a reverted triangle, or like a hill.
Educators use that shape, or do they use a shape? So I'll never forget, it was a Saturday morning. After all this study, it was a couple years of study, I drew a shape. And I was like, oh my gosh, if this shape is real, I should be able to take 2 completely different presentations and overlay it, and it should be true.
What shape? The triangle?
So I took the obvious. I took Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
Didn't I call it before? If you only use these really, really overused, obvious examples about like hugely dramatic things, people are like, that's really interesting, but I can't apply it to my day-to-day. I'm hoping, I doubt it, I'm hoping this next example, she said she used 2 speeches, is going to like be something more realistic. But I bet you anything is going to be like Steve Jobs or something, or like Gandhi.
And I took Steve Jobs' 2007 speech, I overlaid it over it, and it worked.
Nancy, I mean, it's great, but man, could you use more overused examples? And it has such a, like, people be like, that was really interesting. But can't you give us something really practical or something different? Also, how about 2 speeches? I mean, they're sort of different, that they're in that one is like a very like inspirational speech and one is trying to sell, right? No one has watched both of those to completion. Like, if we're honest, we just know about them and we see the little clips of them, but no one's watched the full like 45-minute, hour-long Martin Luther King speech and the full keynote by Steve Jobs. Like, no one. You just know about it and you watch the clips, right? It would have been nice to have some other examples that are more practical in day-to-day. And on that note, because I love the structure, I thought it'd be great. Why don't you show us a structure of a typical presentation to contrast it. So that triangle, and you keep talking about shape, has significance. Maybe you're going to do that in the next part and you're like, shut up, Yvonne, just keep watching. But I'm actually going to end it there because I think this video is going a little long and I want to try and keep them short and manageable. So thank you for watching. Nancy, you're doing great stuff. And I hope if you ever watch this, instead of thinking I'm a dick, you're thinking like, well, he's making some good points here.